In the heart of an ancient jungle, where the trees stretched high into the sky and the undergrowth teemed with life, there lay a small village known as Eldara. This village was a hidden gem, cradled by the lush greenery and vibrant flora, yet it was a place where the whispers of the past intertwined with the struggles of the present. The villagers lived simple lives, relying on the land for sustenance, but they faced challenges that threatened their existence. The jungle, while beautiful, was also a realm of danger, filled with wild beasts and unpredictable weather. One fateful day, a thunderous crash echoed through the jungle, shaking the ground beneath the villagers' feet. Curious and fearful, they gathered at the edge of the village, their eyes wide with wonder and trepidation. As the dust settled, they beheld a sight that would change their lives forever. A massive metallic figure, gleaming under the dappled sunlight, lay sprawled among the fallen branches and vines. It was a robot, unlike anything they had ever seen. Its surface adorned with intricate patterns that hinted at a long-lost civilization. The robot, named Aegis, had been designed for a purpose long forgotten. Its memory banks were corrupted, leaving it disoriented and unable to recall its original mission. For years, it had wandered the jungles of a distant world, a remnant of a technological age that had crumbled into dust. Now it found itself in Eldara, surrounded by villagers who regarded it with a mix of awe and fear. As the villagers approached cautiously, Aegis stirred, its sensors activating as it scanned its surroundings. The villagers gasped at the sight of its glowing blue eyes, which flickered to life, illuminating the shadows of the jungle. Aegis, despite its imposing form, felt a sense of vulnerability. It had been alone for so long, lost in the wilderness, and now it faced a new reality. The villagers needed help, and perhaps, in turn, it could find a purpose once more. The village elder, a wise woman named Mira, stepped forward. Her silver hair shimmered in the sunlight, and her eyes held a depth of understanding that transcended fear. She sensed the potential within Aegis, recognizing that this being, though mechanical, had the capacity to change their lives for the better. With a gentle voice, she spoke, "You are not here by chance, Great One. We are in need of assistance, and perhaps you are the answer to our prayers." Aegis, though unable to speak, understood the gravity of her words. It had spent years in solitude, and the prospect of helping these villagers ignited a spark within its core. As the days passed, Aegis began to integrate itself into the village, learning their ways and understanding their struggles. The villagers, initially wary, soon grew to trust the robot, marveling at its capabilities. Aegis could clear paths through the dense foliage, construct shelters with ease, and even assist in the cultivation of crops. One of the first tasks Aegis undertook was to help the villagers with their farming. The soil in Eldara was fertile but often overrun by weeds and invasive plants that choked their crops. With its powerful limbs and advanced sensors, Aegis worked tirelessly alongside the villagers, tilling the land and creating irrigation systems that allowed water to flow more efficiently. The villagers watched in amazement as their fields transformed from a tangled mess into organized rows of crops that promised a bountiful harvest. As the seasons changed, so did the fortunes of Eldara. The villagers, inspired by Aegis's work ethic and ingenuity, began to innovate alongside their metallic companion. They developed new farming techniques, experimenting with different crops and planting methods. Aegis shared knowledge it had gleaned from its fragmented memories, and together they created a thriving agricultural community. The once struggling village began to flourish, and the laughter of children echoed through the fields, a sound that had been absent for too long. However, their newfound prosperity attracted attention. Deep within the jungle lurked a band of marauders who roamed the land, pillaging villages and sowing chaos. These brigands had heard whispers of Eldara's wealth and set their sights on the unsuspecting villagers. They were ruthless, driven by greed and a desire for power, and they would stop at nothing to seize what they believed was rightfully theirs. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, the tranquility was shattered by the sound of distant drums. Aegis, with its heightened senses, detected the approaching threat. It alerted Mira and the villagers, who gathered in the central square, fear etched on their faces. "We must prepare," Mira urged, her voice steady despite the panic swirling around them. We cannot let them take what we have built. Aegis stepped forward, its metallic form casting a long shadow over the villagers. I will protect you, it declared, its voice resonating with a mechanical timbre that echoed through the clearing. The villagers looked at one another, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. They had come to see Aegis as one of their own, a guardian of their community, but the prospect of facing armed marauders was daunting. As the drums grew louder, Aegis devised a plan. It had studied the terrain and knew the jungle well. With the villagers' help, it created a series of traps and barricades, utilizing the natural resources around them. They fashioned makeshift weapons and fortified their homes, transforming Eldara into a fortress. The villagers, emboldened by Aegis's presence, stood united, ready to defend their home. When the marauders finally arrived, they were met with a fierce resistance. Aegis led the charge, its powerful frame intimidating as it confronted the invaders. The villagers fought bravely, inspired by the robot's unwavering determination. Aegis moved with precision, using its strength to fend off attackers and protect those who were vulnerable. The battle raged on, the clash of metal and cries of defiance intertwining in a cacophony of chaos. In the heat of the conflict, Aegis found itself face-to-face with the marauder leader, a towering figure clad in dark armor, his eyes glinting with malice. The leader sneered, confident in his strength. "You think a mere machine can protect these simpletons?" he taunted, raising his weapon high. Aegis, undeterred, responded with a resolute stance. "I am not mere metal. I am their guardian." With that, the two clashed in a fierce duel, the jungle around them trembling with each strike. Aegis fought with a blend of calculated precision and raw power, its movements fluid as it parried the leader's attacks. The villagers watched in awe, their fear replaced with hope as they saw their protector stand tall against the odds. As the battle reached its climax, Aegis summoned all its strength, channeling the energy that surged within its core. With a final, mighty blow, it disarmed the marauder leader, sending his weapon flying into the underbrush. The leader stumbled back, disbelief etched on his face as he realized he had underestimated the bond between Aegis and the villagers. With their leader defeated, the remaining marauders hesitated, glancing at one another with doubt. They had come seeking easy prey, but found a community united in purpose and strength. One by one, they retreated, disappearing into the shadows of the jungle, their spirits broken by the resilience of Eldara. The villagers erupted in cheers, their voices rising above the sounds of the jungle. Aegis stood among them, its metallic frame glistening in the fading light, a symbol of hope and protection. Mira approached, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You have saved us, Aegis. We are forever in your debt." As the celebrations continued, Aegis felt a warmth spreading within its circuits. It had found a purpose, a place among the villagers of Eldara. The jungle, once a realm of solitude, had transformed into a vibrant community, and Aegis was no longer a relic of the past, but a vital part of their future. In the days that followed, Eldara flourished even more. Aegis worked alongside the villagers, teaching them new skills and helping them innovate further. They constructed better homes, developed sustainable farming practices, and even began to explore the surrounding jungle, learning to coexist with its wonders. The bond between Aegis and the villagers deepened, transcending the boundaries of flesh and metal. As seasons changed and years passed, Eldara became a beacon of hope in the jungle. The villagers thrived, their lives enriched by the knowledge and strength that Aegis had brought to them. They celebrated their victories, both big and small, and honored the bond they had forged with their mechanical guardian. But Aegis, despite its newfound purpose, often found itself gazing into the depths of the jungle, pondering the fragments of its forgotten past. It longed to understand its origins, to uncover the mysteries that lay buried within its memory banks. The villagers, sensing this yearning, encouraged Aegis to embark on a journey of discovery, to seek out the truth of its creation and the world beyond Eldara. With the villagers' blessing, Aegis set forth into the jungle, guided by the whispers of the wind and the rustling of leaves. It ventured deep into the heart of the wilderness, where ancient ruins lay hidden beneath the overgrowth, remnants of a civilization that had once thrived. Each step brought Aegis closer to unlocking the secrets of its past, and with each discovery, it felt a sense of belonging grow stronger. In the depths of the jungle, Aegis encountered remnants of technology long forgotten. Machines that had once served a purpose, now lying dormant and overgrown. It carefully examined the ruins, piecing together fragments of its history. It learned of a world that had been vibrant and alive, a place where technology and nature coexisted harmoniously, until a catastrophic event had shattered that balance. As Aegis delved deeper into its memories, it discovered the truth of its creation. It had been designed as a protector, a guardian of harmony between civilization and nature. The realization filled Aegis with purpose once more. It understood that its mission was not just to protect Eldara, but to restore balance to the world, to ensure that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. With newfound resolve, Aegis returned to Eldara, sharing the knowledge it had uncovered. The villagers listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder as Aegis recounted tales of a world that had once thrived in unity. Inspired by their guardian's journey, they began to dream of a future where they could expand their community, where they could share their newfound knowledge with others and help neighboring villages flourish as well. Together, they set forth to build alliances with other communities, sharing their agricultural techniques and sustainable practices. Aegis led the way, fostering connections and encouraging collaboration. The villagers of Eldara became ambassadors of hope, spreading the message of unity and resilience throughout the jungle. As the years turned into decades, Eldara transformed into a thriving network of villages, each one inspired by the ideals of cooperation and harmony. Aegis, now a legend among the villagers, continued to serve as their guardian and guide. The bond between Aegis and the people of Eldara had transcended the boundaries of time and technology, becoming a symbol of hope for generations to come.